Okay.
I have.
Good morning, Mr. Kane. I missed you last night.
I was there
Oh, were you?
in the back.
Oh, were you there early?
I was in the back.
Yeah, well, because they asked the board members to stand up and,
I didn't get, I was there late.
oh, okay.
I thought for a while there would be done by.
The official
That
course
was,
graduation, 15 graduates last night.
Chris.
I wanted to go and
A lot of people.
Yeah, that was huge.
I've been to several of them.
Yeah,
The most I've ever.
that's the most I've ever seen too. It's great. Success of the program.
Judges are just lawyers with roles. God, that she talk.
Which one?
Your favorite meeting. Okay, good morning.
Town.
My name is Chris Caius. I'm president of the Forest Preserve, King County Forest Preserve. I'm calling this meeting to order of the King County Forest Preserve District Executive Committee on Thursday, May 9th, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. Can we have roll call, please?
Caius,
Caius present.
Bates, Berman,
Berman is here.
Kenyon,
Here.
Lewis, here, Molina,
Molina present.
Sanchez,
Sanchez present remotely.
Strathman,
Here.
Tepe.
Jeffy here.
Yeah, of course.
And then I would ask for unanimous consent to allow Ms. Molina
I would
and
move
Mr.
that.
Sanchez
Consent.
to participate as voting members of this committee remotely due to conflicts of scheduling or other allowable reasons. Okay,
Okay.
is there any public
say?
comment? Do we have any public comment?
Please.
Okay, nothing online, nobody here, good. Okay, great, thank you. Then we will do may I have a motion and second for the presentation and approval of bills and commissioners per
I would
diem from
move
April
for
2024.
Bills.
Moved by Kenyon, second by Berman. Oh, I didn't do that, no. Yeah, we did the minutes, that was the,
We did.
no.
Come on, wake up.
No, you did,
Oh, I allowed him in, but I just.
yeah, you didn't allow me.
All right.
You did 2 minutes.
Well, we got a motion on the table, so let's go ahead and do the, any question about the presentation and approval of bills? I don't have a red line, Maggie, or Gabby.
Sorry.
I need notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Staff.
That was how quickly you threw it.
I apologize for even throwing you under the bus, Gabby. It's my own fault.
Okay.
All in favor for the bills and per diem?
Aye.
All right, and may I have unanimous consent for, I'll accept a unanimous consent for the minutes from April 4th, 2024. Is there such a animal? Somebody wants to do that?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I would
Madam-
ask for unanimous consent.
Madam Strathman asks for unanimous consent for the minutes from April 4th, 2024. Thank you very much. I have any objections or any corrections?
We did that.
We did
already.
too.
No, we did the allowing people in.
Consent to allow remote.
Oh.
See, that was my mistake too. I did the allow.
Especially-
We thought he said both, like consent and approval of the minutes. So that's what we heard
That's
over on this
been
side.
trying-
Boy, it's a tough crowd this morning.
Mhm.
We're just getting started.
Okay, so that case, we do have the minutes approved by unanimous consent. We are allowing those people in, just to catch up here.
Okay.
There was no public comment, and we have voted and approved the bills and per diem from April 2024. Now,
Good
item 5, Finance and Administration, may I have a motion and a second to present and potentially approve TMP 242247, resolution authorizing a 5-year renewal to the use and license agreement with Anderson Humane. Moved by Strathman,
Louis
Second,
seconds.
second.
Lewis second. Let's see if I
Keep
get
it moving, that's all.
Sorry, I'm trying to write 4 names down now. Strathman and Lewis. And we have Jennifer Rooks Lopez to present.
All right, good morning, everyone. So what we have in front of you today is a 5-year contract renewal with Anderson Humane. They were formerly known as the Fox Valley Wildlife Center. They've been over at the Elburn Forest Preserve utilizing that house since 2001. For the most part, the contract that you have in front of you is similar to what they have had in the past, with one minor exception. They are looking to add a construction trailer to help with their nursery operations out on the site. They're not ready for that at this point, so it's something that we would be working with them as they move forward. It's probably something that will be coming in the next year or two if they even do the trailer. But again, they're responsible for the property maintenance out there. There were some comments mentioned at the last planning and utilization, that we probably should have a conversation with them about doing some cleanup. There is a lot of debris. It is looking a little rough out there. So as part of this, yes, we will be talking with them to do some site cleanup out there. But yeah, that's it kind of in a nutshell.
Any questions? Yes, Ms. Strathman.
What is the nursery? We're talking forest preserve nursery, but.
Oh.
Animal nursery.
Yeah, so this would be for injured small or orphaned small animals that need a special incubator, little more attention. Mhm.
Skunks.
Yeah, I stopped in there when I first got elected to the board and they looked like I was a three-headed monster trying to check them out or something. They're very cautious about who gets in there and they seem to be very caring and take care of the animals really well. It's a dedicated staff. Any questions then? Any other questions for Jennifer? No? Then can we have roll call, please?
Bates. Berman,
Berman, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Tepe.
Tepe, yes.
It's approved.
Motion passes. Excuse me, may I have a motion and a second to present and potentially approve TMP 24-2251, an ordinance for the annual budget appropriation fiscal year 2024-2025, moved by Kenyon, second by
Lewis.
Berman. I missed some of that in there.
Someone tried to sneak in.
Then that would be Mr. Dave Petchke.
Good morning. The purpose of this memorandum is to provide the committee with information regarding the approval of the proposed appropriation ordinance for budget year 2024 and 2025. The district, once again, had staff maintain a very tight control over expenditures within this budget year. And we also reviewed prior year trends and priority analysis when preparing this budget. I wanted to thank President Caius and Finance Chair Berman for the time they spent thoroughly reviewing the budget as well, prior to this being presented at the Finance and Admin Committee. What we have presented here for this presentation is basically just highlights of the general fund and also the construction development fund to look over the major changes within the year. Compared to last year, the general fund's revenues went from about 10.9 million to 12 million for fiscal year 24-25. Largest of the revenue changes are primarily property tax, which is $592,956. This consisted of both CPI and new construction within the budget year. It also included a revenue recapture, which is automatically added by the county. That was $84,491.77. That is due to previous tax year calculation errors. That's automatically added to the levy. Investment income, there was an increase of $262,500. This was due to past performance of the fund and interest rates, the interest rate environment as well. The Fed hasn't really eased rates yet, so we do anticipate that we'll have an increase of $262,000 there. Golf courses, there was an increase of $135,000. This increase was due to the fact that last year in the budget, we moved these revenue sources from the general fund to construction development to assist with projects. That was a one-time move. It's now being moved back due to the need within the general fund. So that's the increase of $135,000. The donated lands management account is new this year. That's a $42,000 increase. This is basically just a revenue that's created to offset the expense that we have also within the budget. This is primarily working as an escrow account for the HOA due to management of the wetland. So basically what happens is we budget those expenditures to maintain that wetland. This revenue account offsets exactly that expense, so it doesn't have an impact on the income statement. The state replacement tax, there's an increase of $31,341. This increase was based on the guidance from the Illinois Municipal League. That's the organization that most accurately can predict what's going to happen with that revenue source. Overall, this revenue source is still increasing, and that's primarily due to economic conditions overall. Sale of material, we had a decrease of $60,000 included in this year's budget. That decrease is due to vehicles from the existing fleet being sold in the current fiscal year, we don't anticipate as many turning over in the next fiscal year. That's why we have a decrease there. And then for expenditures, I'm going to pass it off to Ben for the first one here.
All right, thanks for letting me do this part, Dave. Yeah, so
Anytime.
the hard sell here. So our biggest expense in the next budget cycle is $465,000 for the implementation of our compensation classification study. We spent approximately $30,000 with McGrath Consulting, or we're finishing up that contract right now, and their full report will be to staff at the end of June, and then in front of the board. Right now, McGrath has given us some initial numbers. We've met with, McGrath has met with all of our staff explaining how they came about their recommendations. Senior staff have gone back with a couple scenarios that they'd like us, we'd like them to show us on implementation, and we can answer some of those questions right now. Jennifer Clough's here if you have any more questions about that. But similar to what was called the equity study over at the county, we haven't updated our ranges since 2017. We know we're behind the market in a lot of places. McGrath will be showing you that later this year. And this is the amount we have as a placeholder for addressing a lot of those issues. Health insurance premiums are going up by the percentages there. There's not too much say we have over that. That's IPBC sends that, communicates with Jen and Dave, and so we're just recording that there.
Then vehicles and trailers, there was an increase of $427,000. This consisted primarily of 2 replacement F-450 trucks for operations for a grand total of $264,000. There was 1 F-250 truck for trades, a total of $75,000. 1 replacement F-150 Interceptor for public safety at $70,000. Also wanted to mention that based on the feedback from the commission earlier this year, we have moved away from the enterprise lease program due to the high interest rates of financing those vehicles and also their inability to source the vehicles. It made sense at this point, and we agree that it's time to break from that agreement. Machinery and equipment, there was $314,900 that consisted of 1 tractor for $88,000, which is a replacement for operations, 6 zero-turn mowers for a total of $102,000 for operations, and 2 utility vehicles, UTVs, sorry, for $33,300 for operations, 1 trail mowing attachment for $28,000, replacement for operations, and something we're very excited for here is a new all-terrain wheelchair for $17,000. We've been working with Fox Valley Special Recreation Association. This will give access to somebody who could normally not do a nature program or experience the preserves in the same way, an opportunity to do that. So budgeting within the Natural Education Department for $17,000 for that. So a unique thing this year, typically we say the general fund is always balanced. What happened though in the past due to inventory not being available for certain things, primarily vehicles, but also a fuel system. We've budgeted for these things in the past, so $723,000 total. We're considering carryover. It would create a deficit budget in the general fund by exactly this figure. The reason why it's a deficit though is because it has been budgeted in prior years and it inflated the fund balance already. So we're just drawing that down for what we've already budgeted for these vehicles. So this is the list, and this is also within your budget document of all the carryover items adding up to that $723,000. As you can see, it's primarily vehicles, also some fuel systems that we weren't able to implement in the prior years. So that is the summary of the general fund and the highlights, and then we'll cover the construction development fund next.
Sure, and then
Can I ask
I'll,
a question before we
yeah,
move on?
absolutely.
Just curiosity, yesterday in county, we were told that we were allocating 10% for increases in health insurance. And you guys are only doing 3.3 or whatever it was.
Yes, so
That's what I thought. I was gonna tell them to come and talk to you guys.
Yeah.
Jen's,
They're younger.
Jen's a better
Oh,
negotiator.
they're younger.
Really? Our
Yeah.
people are younger in the Fourth Reserve than the county.
that's part of it. We're also part
It's a lot less.
We're also part of IPPC, which is a governmental pool of health insurance. So some of that risk is split among other agencies. So they've had moderate increases compared to the open market right now. So we've been pretty pleased working with them.
Can we move that the commissioners that are on insurance come and get it from you guys instead of over there? Just asking.
Out of order.
I know, don't cause trouble. Move along.
That was Ms. Lewis, so
Yes.
if anybody wants to know who's
Maybe it
asking those
was-
questions. That's right.
They are eligible for IPPC. They've just chosen to go with a different broker. And so we can bring some information on that if you'd like.
Interesting.
Really?
It's
I have a
interesting.
question.
Mr. Kenyon,
Horsepower rating of the tractor. You,
Ooh, good.
Ooh.
Jeremy's up.
it's not a trick question.
Your
Apparently. it-
new tractor this year,
Look at the price.
John Deere 5100
That's the
with
model.
the equivalent horsepower for 5100, John.
So, well, we'll have to look that up.
It's
Uh,
number 11.
you got a
in the-
spare you want to loan us
it-
instead? You got a spare you want to loan us instead?
Mine are
Not that new?
too old for you.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
you got it. Yeah.
they're on
We
the
have to, we need dependable vehicles.
We got Beerman of my age, who's got his.
I worked on my
Like the Old guys.
I worked on my grandpa's ranch in Idaho. It's
Just keep on
we
the
understand that.
upload.
That's the model number. We don't have the horsepower detailed
Okay.
in the budget
That's
request.
probably easy to look up.
All right.
You get away with that.
Okay.
Let's try and tighten this up a little bit,
Yeah.
will we, Mr. Kenyon?
So finally, yeah, just the construction and development. So
Hmm.
that was everything that's happening in the '01 operating budget for the construction and development fund, which we call '03. Our biggest project of the year is $575,000 going to our centennial celebration. This isn't just money for a party, though. This is a this is a major improvement at Johnson.
Free beer.
Johnson's Mound. So we've got
Okay.
new ADA accessible trails. We'll be looking for donations from through the foundation to do a memorial tree planting of about 800 trees. As a reminder, Johnson's Mound was the very first parcel we purchased in 1925. So 100 years later, we're going back to one of our more recently
You
purchased.
remember that, Dale?
Laura Park.
I was holding up that big tree.
So there.
He
There
planted
is
the trees.
There is a big tree that we're looking to celebrate at Johnson's Mound as part of this, the Shabana elm. We might be able to do a
The native.
celebration. It was absolutely,
Okay.
yes.
Can we change Mavis to it?
I have no.
Anita Lewis.
Let's tighten this up a little bit. Mr. Kenyon?
Do we take advantage of this by putting signage out? I think the people that use Fitchy Creek would be very excited about the trail improvements. I mean,
Yes,
it's
we haven't advertised like improvements.
not
coming
like a
soon, but
sign improvement soon, and
We can do that. Yep, we've got an in-house sign specialist.
gotta brag what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm trying right now.
It's the whole centennial thing, I think.
Follow through on it.
Yeah.
But we can put signage out there to celebrate that. We'll have a lot of signage at Dewar. This is coming before you today for the renovation project there. In honor of John Dewar on the 18th. His now widow is having a celebration joy. So we're waiting to start that project until they've had a chance to memorialize John at the preserve. So that's a big thing coming forward. We touched on Fitchy, and then Bliss is a large scale brush project similar to what we just did at Fabian. I think that's all I got. Dave's got a little more for you.
Yep. So included in this document here, the spreadsheet is what the district lives by. So everything within here, we've always managed to meet this budget or below the budget, right? Common practice though in government is to increase the budgeted amount by 10% for the appropriations ordinance though. The appropriations ordinance is what would go to the county, and if there's any unforeseen expenditures where we had to go over that, it just keeps us in compliance with the state statute. So just want to point out between that spreadsheet and the actual appropriation ordinance, there is a 10% increase there. So staff is recommending approval of the appropriation ordinance and budget. And if there's any questions, I can answer those now.
Okay, any other questions for David or Ben? Roll call, please.
Bates? Berman?
Berman, yes.
Kenyon?
Yes.
Lewis?
Lewis, yes.
Molina?
Molina, yes.
Sanchez?
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Pepe,
That'd be yes.
it's approved.
A budget that works. Planning and utilization, may I have a motion and a second present and potentially approve TMP 24-2252, a resolution approving a bid for the John J. Dewar Forest Preserve site improvements. Moved by
Move that.
Kenyon, second by Strathman. And Jennifer Rooks Lopez is up again.
All right, good morning, everyone. So in 2020, the district applied for an OSLAD grant for improvements over at the John Dewar Forest Preserve. They included improvements to the parking lot, a new ADA boat launch, replacing the 2 existing shelters, replacing the restroom facility, and some realignment of the bike trail to prevent some parking and bike trail conflicts that we have. However, because of 2020, the district wasn't awarded that grant until August of 2022. And since then, as everybody knows, construction costs have kind of gone up significantly. So in the budget for 2022-23, we had allocated $1.3 million to cover the construction plus the engineering services. After engineering and after the pre-purchase of the 2 shelters, we have $968,000 remaining. When we went out to bid, the lowest qualified bid was Obsidian Asphalt Paving. Their bid came in at $1,293,604, and that all-important 70 cents. The district is requesting an additional $48,796 to be set aside as a contingency should anything happen during construction that we weren't anticipating. To cover that change, so there's obviously a difference between what we have remaining of the 968 and where we're at today. In the 24-25 budget, staff did allocate $374,503 to cover that anticipated overage, which brings our total available potential funding to $1,342,582 available in the budget. So staff would be looking for approval to approve base bid plus alternate 1 from Obsidian Asphalt Paving for $1,293,604.70, plus a contingency of $48,796 to cover any unanticipated additional costs, and an amount not to exceed $1,342,470.
Any questions for Jennifer? Roll call, please.
Bates, Berman,
Berman, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Pepe,
That'd be yes.
it's approved.
Motion passes. May I have a motion and a second to present and potentially approve TMP 24-2241, a resolution approving a bid for the construction project for Centennial Garden at Fabian Forest Preserve. Moved by
Kenyon will move it.
Kenyon, second by
Berman.
Berman. And we have Jeremy this morning. Jeremy
All
Jackson.
right. Good morning. I'm here today to provide information to consider the approval for a bid for the installation of concrete walkways at the Centennial Garden at Fabian Forest Preserve. Soil sampling began in 2020, and we've shown an elevated pH level in the flower beds surrounding the limestone walkways. The pH levels in the adjacent beds are recording over 8, while the baseline for Fabian as a whole is about 6.0. The increased alkalinity of the soils has resulted in poor plant health and become uninhabitable for some desirable and native species. The project will reduce limestone runoff in the existing walkways into the adjacent flower beds, which is believed to be the cause for the localized increased pH levels, as well as assist in the reduction of resources and time to maintain the walkways. Staff is recommending the replacement of limestone walkways with concrete through the Centennial Garden. Bid was sent to 20 vendors with 3 responding. ProVantage Systems out of St. Charles, Illinois was the lowest qualified bidder in the amount of $65,819. Staff is also recommending a $5,000 contingency to cover any unforeseen additional costs that may arise during the project. Funds totaling $72,000 were budgeted and available for fiscal year 23-24 for the Centennial Garden project, to cover the total expense of $70,819 to include the contingency. With the support from the Preservation Partners of Fox Valley Staff is recommending the committee approves the bid for Pro Vantage Systems of St. Charles, Illinois, for a total not to exceed $70,819.
Okay, Mr. Kenyon, question?
How long have we had bad gardens there?
It's been decreasing, probably noticeably in the plant material. 2015, we started noticing that the rose arbors, the rose plants were not doing well. We switched to a clematis, which has a little bit higher tolerance, and those are now struggling too. So, our new horticulturist started in 2020, and right away, that was one of her first things was, beginning soil sampling and establishing a baseline.
Well, that's the way it is on the farm.
Yeah, sample.
You don't, if you don't have the right mix, you don't grow the crops.
Yeah. Maybe that's the problem with my garden.
Yeah.
Great. Any other questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Bates, Berman,
Berman, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Rathman,
Yes.
Pepe,
That'd be yes.
it's approved.
Motion passes. Thanks, Jeremy. Is there any new and unfinished business? And no need for closed session this morning?
Oh.
Communications, Lori Matencha?
We've had a number of events since the executive committee last met. On April 20th, we had our Earth Day event. Kate's doing me a solid and following along on Facebook with photos since I was out of town yesterday and don't have a normal report put together. So Earth Day, we had, I think it was 350 people was the number we're going with, out planting hundreds of oaks at Elburn Forest Preserve. Good time had by all. We had you've got plant sale up, sorry. We had a band out there and made it more of a festival atmosphere. So thank you to Sunflower Headlights, who kept the crowd motivated. Barb's team had hikes afterward, and they also had a pollinator pop-up booth, and so we had people stop by that. We also had a tent for the Kane Forest Preserve Foundation out there, and it had a raffle. And again, congrats to Mr. Roth, who won one of our prizes, which is good. So it was a great day out at Elburn, and thanks to all of the volunteers who came out and helped plant oak trees. And then our next big event, the following Saturday, we had our native plant sale for the Kane Forest Preserve Foundation, and Kate's just going to rifle through some of the pictures. We had a photographer out. There's Jen. We sold a lot of plants at the native plant sale, but we also had a lot of inventory, lesson learned. So thank you to our NRM team who was able to help us return 1,500 flats to our vendor, which definitely helped our profitability. I don't have all the numbers put together yet, but I should by full commission. But thank you to our finance team as well as Gabby and Kate, who did all of the sales at the event. We sold double the plants in person at our in-person plant sale than we did the year prior. So it was super successful in that regard. And then with all of our leftover plants, minus the ones that we took back, we were able to turn around and quickly offer a half-off bonus plant sale, and we were able to sell 2/3 of our remaining inventory. So it was a success, but lessons learned on the inventory. I'm told you can't exactly pick the number of plants that you buy correctly. If you buy too little, then you're worried you could have sold more and made more money. And if you buy too much, then you're stuck with, oh no, what do we do? So I think we've got some good new measures in place, and we're ready for next year. On May 1st, our campgrounds opened. So we talked about that on social media, and we were prepared for a number of questions on online registration. That seems to be going well. So that was online as well. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was the Tree Line newsletter. We've taken some steps to make this a little more interactive if you look at it online. And so if you go to our website, click on the tree line picture, it takes you to an interactive page turner as if you're reading it in your lap. And then if you keep clicking through pages, once you get to the nature programs, we've made those all linkable. So if you are interested in a program, you click on the title and it'll take you directly to the registration for that event. This builds on all of the good work that our finance team has done to make registration online possible. So we're excited to see how this is going to impact registration for nature programs. Yeah, it's very cool. And that's it for me.
Mr. Roth?
Yeah, it's Roth here. You said you sold 2/3 of the surplus?
Right, and the remaining plants are, our NRM crew has already picked up and they'll be
Oh,
planted
okay.
if not
That was my-
already. in the
That was my
reserve.
question. What were you going to do with that? All right.
Yeah, none of them go to waste. It's just-
Okay.
I
Well,
would
I
rather have
thought,
sold them than,
I mean, I thought if they were still available for.
yeah, no, they're gone.
Get them while you can. Mr. Kenyon?
The success is due to staff. You guys worked really hard out there. I'm impressed. They were out there. The man here is calculating stuff on his phone. Usually you have to have a 10-year-old to do that, but Dave could do it. I'm just impressed with all the work you guys do to make the forest preserve what it is.
Thanks for
Yeah.
saying that, Mike. Our staff from, I think, literally every department helps out with that event, and I certainly couldn't do that all on my own. So I'm super appreciative and tried telling them throughout the past 2 weeks like a crazy person, thank you for all your help,
Yeah.
but appreciate those comments.
Mr. Tepe?
Yeah. Would you expand a little bit on the cicada events that you have coming up?
Cicadas. There is an article in our tree line actually this quarter about cicadas, and we haven't been getting calls because I think it's been covered a lot in the news already. We talked about this in our car ride on the way home from Springfield yesterday. Should you cover trees or not? I asked Ben that simple question and he gave me about a 30-paragraph answer on cicadas. So I'll flip to Ben if you want to know more about
I've got a lot to
cicadas.
say about it, but it's
So-
a natural occurrence.
So you're not planning on talking about the high protein content in
Yeah,
cicadas?
St. Charles covered that pretty well. The edibleness of the, yeah.
Pam Otto, this is a great articles.
I had a couple more things for you.
Yeah,
Lori mentioned
Mr. Min.
Springfield a couple times. We just went down to the 46th annual IAPD Legislative Conference to get our proof of attendance. No, and then it went it went well. Jennifer Rooks Lopez, Lori and I went down there and we managed to meet quite a few representatives, a couple alumni here, Representative Hanson and Hernandez. There's a reception where we were able to see them and a couple other senators. So it was productive, go there and meet them in the rotunda, and the Parks Day went well. The whole thing's under construction. I hadn't been down there, so it was, according to Lori, we were squeezed in like we haven't been before, but I think it went really well. The big push from IAPD this year is to not have the state sweep the OSLAD money. OSLAD and LawCon are responsible for 20% of our acres here. So, almost 5,000 acres is just from grant money. So we would be hurting if they take that OSLAD money, and that's what they're looking to do right now. So any other connections people might have with state reps or senators, we want to have that OSLAD money available still. So IAPD's got a lot more information. We've got some talking points we can share on that if you have an opportunity. Otherwise, that went really well. And I looked it up, the all-new John Deere 5100, which boasts
Oh.
102 horse at the engine, 85 at the PTO.
Ms. Lewis, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just had a question. So we are paying a high-powered lobbyist on the other side.
Well, so we are a member of IAPD, which is the Illinois Association of Park Districts. So that is the lobbying side of it. So they represent forest preserve and conservation districts. So it's an annual membership of, I think it's about $500 per
Yeah.
member. And that is their sole goal, is to put parks and conservation measures lobby on our behalf.
Yeah.
And they have been really effective. Peter Murphy is the head of that
Yeah,
right now.
yeah,
And so
yeah. But on the county side, we do pay
oh,
a
it's
guy
lobby.
that, yes, we do.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm not sure.
And they're, yes, and they're down there all the time. So, always on Barbara and all those people. So,
Right.
and Michelle Gomes heads that group. So you might want to just mention this. to
Yeah,
her,
that'd be great. Yeah,
Because,
I'll follow up with you.
Yeah,
for
be nice,
Contact
sure.
info.
yeah.
Work them, make
But
them.
why not? They're down there anyway, and it's certainly
Right,
part
we
of
have
our, of our
legislative
county.
staff here.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Strathman?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to hear about this special wheelchair. How does it work that
Yes.
people sign up for?
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Does it move from place
Hey,
to place?
that's the plan. Would you pull up, I think it's called Action Tracker or like that.com, and then it's a treaded vehicle. So it looks like a conventional wheelchair with tank treads on the other side of it. So it's pretty cool. And then I've actually got a friend who uses a chair, and then he is a member of a spinal cord injury group at Fox Valley Special Rec. And he's like, why don't I guess he utilized one of these over at Indiana Dunes, and other national parks have utilized these. And so, yeah, it would be a loaner. And the idea is that they would, somebody who needs the chair would contact us, and we would trailer it over to a location to meet them, and it makes the whole, any part of the Forest Preserve District ADA accessible. So it can afford little, I mean, look at that thing. It is a tank.
It's
And then
so cool.
and then it's all electric, so it would stay charged. We're hoping to house it over at Leroy. And then, so working with Alex Engelhart of Fox Valley Special Rec, who we saw yesterday in Springfield. She's very excited about this opportunity. They've got a lot of connection with chair users. And so she's putting a group together to come and demo to make sure this is the model we want to buy. But that's what we're placeholding for that. And then seems like a winner for the community.
And is this adult size or adult and?
Great question. I know it's definitely adult size. We saw a couple of them down in Chicago at the IPDA conference. I don't know if I'd imagine there's different sizes for kids versus adults. I don't know how adaptable the individual chair is. I know they were showing how the whole side lift up, and depending on a person's mobility, how they could get in and out of the chair, that sort of thing. So that's what we're looking to test out. And
Oh, cool.
but this is like the leading model, so I think it's going to be something we pursue.
Kudos,
Looks
that's
cool,
very,
yeah.
very cool.
Are these
There'll
readily
be a test
available?
drive for board members, right?
Yeah.
Another public relations thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
After we get it, but if like
More
does it
people
take a
can
year to
use
get
it.
it?
yeah, I don't think it's a custom build. I think these are pretty
Okay.
much
Off the-
as soon as we place the order. So we should have it within the budget year.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It is,
Very
it is.
cool.
Yeah, the batteries.
Yeah.
Okay,
Now I'm worried. I gotta find out. Yeah.
Yeah.
so that
It's very
pretty much covers communications then?
Yes.
All right,
Wait, I have one other question.
great,
if I
yes.
can.
Ms. Lewis.
Now, we want one.
Excuse me, I've been acknowledged to have the floor. Not you two, okay?
Hit the floor.
Man. When we were back talking about the Johnson's Mound Centennial,
Mhm.
and there was a little thing about the foundation and $170,000 for trees. Are we gonna do like memorial trees? Like I can buy a tree in honor of somebody?
Pretty much, yeah. And then so we had moved away from memorial trees on a one-off basis. Honestly, due to the survivability of them. So they require a lot of care, and when the tree would die after you're memorializing a loved
My
one,
gosh.
it was.
Another trauma,
So,
another grief
It
walk.
was double
you know?
traumatic. And then so we kind of moved away from that. So to combat that, we're working with Pat, and what we've designed is a sponsorship opportunity per tree, which still concept. We're making sure we get the money passed for it. But you would get a tree, a little bit larger diameter. We'll see what they have available, but like a 2-inch DBH tree or a 10-gallon root ball, which has a higher impact right away. And then also that would come with a year of care from like a Davy company. We would go out to bid on that. And so they would they would water it throughout the year. And then we might have other options like deer protection, that kind of thing. And unlike our Earth Day trees where we do a smaller tree and are willing to accept a certain amount of tree die-off, these we would really be striving for 100% survivability. And so after the first year, then they'd be, if they were watered in and good after their first year, they should be good. But we'd care for these their first year. So we'll have hopefully a lot more information, and we still have to coordinate the foundation on that. It'd be cool.
Mhm. Very cool.
Great. Okay, any other questions or comments on? And any other from our representative to the foundation, any other comments for the foundation?
We
Mr.
have
Kenny?
our next meeting next Monday
Monday, 2:30.
in the afternoon.
2:30.
We'll be talking about a golf hunt.
To raise money to help the Forest Preserve. Great, super. So that's communications, president's comments. Well, I think everybody's pretty much said what I was going to say, which was thank you for all of that, those heavy efforts and big lifts this last month. It's been
24 has been wild already.
a lot of good stuff. Yeah, wait
Take the rest of the-
till the 100. Yeah, that's right. He's got a plan for 25.
Yeah,
Man, that's the
yeah,
big one.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and thanks for your help with this budget. That's a big lift as well. And I think that's it. And May I have a motion second, to put the reports on file? Moved by Berman, second by Strathman. All in favor? Aye. Okay, those are put on file, and then Mr. Kenyon, do the honor.
Motion to adjourn and get you on with your day. Notice how the.
Kenyon and Berman,
And the county, things get done here.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for being here. See you next month.